Hello and welcome. My name is Jordan Belgran, and this is the Wing Chun Qigong channel. Hey, as promised a few weeks back in a number of videos, I've been talking about doing the sorry, not the entire thing, but parts of the meditation course online. Um, and I've been reflecting on this quite a while, just weighing things up. Um, There are teachers in the past um, that I've taken lessons from and, paid them good money uh, to teach me different techniques and to ensure that I've been doing them correctly. Um, and presenting something like this online for, free, I'm often a bit concerned of those teachers and other teachers who make a living off being it's this sole thing to be, say, a meditation teacher or a kung fu teacher or all that. It is part of the reason that I don't just throw everything up online. Me personally, I run my own business completely separate from all of this, which is really great because there's nothing that spills over that I have like an ulterior motive or agenda to seek power or control or more money or be the biggest influencer or that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to let you know that's about me up front with teaching you these things because it is important that you have a trust with the person who is passing along this information and you entrust that they're telling you the truth. And they also have, say, a skill set in that area, all of those things. And the other piece was I was just, concerned about other people's livelihood. Because of that, I'm obviously not going to be teaching any of the things that people that I've paid money for. It's probably the way to put it. And what I'm going to do is teach you something that I'm going to call Wing Chun meditation. Uh, and I'm going to speak about something that it's just an idea that came to me, and I've been sort of working on it for a little while. And you can play along, study along, meditate along. Uh, in this video, I don't anticipate to actually perform the practice. Um, this is about learning, and I give you the sort of the overall technique. Um, and then in each future video, I will drill down on that singular technique. I think that's really neat because it gives you a chance to, if I'm uh, good enough to release these in timely manners, such as a weekly basis. If you've seen this video and I haven't released the other ones, it gives you a chance to practice for a week, practice for a week, practice for a week. And then that means you've practiced that thing steadily for, let's say you did every day for 7 days, right? For those who already are adept at meditation, you'd probably be just listening to this to see, am I doing that? You might be adept at meditation. You find that your progress is slowed and you're looking for an edge. Is there something you missed? I believe you'll find that in these videos. For those who know nothing about meditation, this is a great place to start. You're very lucky. Uh, just for myself, um, I don't uh, I don't know how long I've been meditating for. It is something that I was always interested in, and I, in a sense, is it stupid to say? I was going to say stupidly read so many books to learn to meditate. Is that stupid? It's not stupid. I think it's good that I never got entrapped into somebody's cult. Um, but always learning from a teacher who is proficient at meditation. is far better than anything you can get from a book. So at least I wisened up after a while. So let's get into it. Firstly, I'm going to show you a book. This is a version. Oh, don't get blurred on me. It's probably going to get blurred. I'll have to turn it off if I do this. What's important is you see that symbol there because it's on this version of The Secret of the Golden Flower, a Chinese book of life, translated and explained by Richard Wilhelm, with commentary by C.J. Jung. Now, Jung is a famous psychiatrist, and he is the student of Freud. But they split on a number of ideas. Now, a few things. I have the other version of this book over in my bookshelf over there, with a whole bunch of other Taoist books I have. They're both good, but I like this one. It has all this flowery language, you know, makes it seem more mystical. Apologies, I'm going to demystify it. If it's all mystical, then there's a good chance you don't understand what's going on. You don't really want that in your meditation. In your meditation, you want to be very grounded, not only in body, but in mind. And in mind, that means you know what the hell you're doing. Okay, I don't know if I should repeat that, but it's extremely important. The other thing is we are not going to focus on any of Jung's commentary. He was very great about talking and trying to prove his thesis of archetypes and so forth, and the deep levels of the subconscious mind and the group mind. But he had his own form of meditation. But it, unfortunately, his type of meditation has you, let's say, you go in and then you drift around into the dreamscape or subconscious. It doesn't get you to keep going straight down to meet the source. So we don't want to do that. Well, you can if you wish to, but that's not what I'm teaching you. The other parts is I'm not going to read this book, every word, piece for piece. I'm just going to extract certain parts. For this session, I'm not going to do that. I'm letting you know about the book. You might want to go and pick it up on Amazon, have a read of it before I go through these sessions. In addition, you can even Google it. There might be, free PDFs you can borrow on the library. I recommend that too. And it's definitely on YouTube with, you can just listen to it in the car. What you'll find is when you'll Google it is a whole number of people who are giving their explanation of what they think the golden flower is. I always find that interesting. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong. Again, who am I to say any of those things? But all I'm going to do is cast my version of what I see the book as. All right. So firstly, why the hell have I called it Wing Chun meditation when I'm giving you this ancient Chinese, potentially Taoist, although it's mixed with Buddhist, meditative techniques? A couple of reasons. Wing Chun is riddled with Taoist and Buddhist techniques, if you didn't know. It's just filled with them. All the esoteric techniques from Vajrayana of Tibet, Mahayana, such as the Great Zen, Theravada, Hinayana, the one for the yellow robes, bald heads from different parts of Asia. All of it, all through Wing Chun, believe it or not. And you might think, I've never been taught any of those things. And that's because you haven't been taught the Qigong component of it. And not just health Qigong. Obviously, the Qigong that is found inside of the schools that I just mentioned would be spiritual Qigong, but they do also have health benefits. As they then used those for their meditative practices, they separated out and did more physical activities, which would have been an instruction from Bodhidharma, whether it was real or not, but that's how the story goes, right? He came and visited the monks and he said, "You're all weak, get to training." And Shaolin became a bunch of martial artists. So we hear there's a physical component as well. Now, your meditation needs all of those too. And you think physical for meditation? Well, one part of meditation you'll see in this, just an example, is balance. And balance is a function of strength. So if you don't have any strength to keep your spine straight and use your core, then you'll have instability and you won't be able to find your balance. As an example, right? So you can see why, if you're looking to achieve these states of stillness of mind, in order to get to the depths of consciousness, you should go the other end of going to the depths of physical, and by that, physical exercise of strength. We'll keep going. The other reason why I see this and am going to call it Wing Chun meditation is the word Wing Chun. A lot of being written about it. It's a woman, this and that, little fairy tales, right? But there is another meaning to it, which is the eternal springtime. Or, in the case I've written here, I've written eternal embryonic seed. Okay. So my definition doesn't have to be yours, but my definition of Wing Chun is it's the pathway and discovery of the eternal embryonic seed. Now, in this book, The Secret of the Golden Flower, the master does give a description of the golden flower, that it's just like a metaphor, like Wing Chun, like springtime. The golden flower isn't golden, it's neither a flower, it has no color. It's pointing to something that exists within you that needs to be brought to light, needs to be awakened. Awakening this energy, this also named Yuan Qi, or awakening this Kundalini, produces sort of differing results in differing people, but which you will have to all unravel. But it is also the opening of spirituality, like one of the first phases of knowing that you're on the right path of spirituality. This book is the manual, is the instruction on how to do that. Not the only one. It is just one method. I wish to give a call out to JJ Semple. I spoke with him once, about 15 years ago, one-on-one, because I had read his book, Deciphering the Golden Flower, One Secret at a Time, and was just inspired by someone who just gives their bio, and it's unfiltered. You know, I love that. I love when people give unfiltered bios. They're not heroes in the book. They're just normal individuals. They've gone on the hero's journey. He has a website you can check out, and he gives a very terse and at times thorough descriptions of how he accomplished this meditation. There will be some crossovers, spoiler, but there will also be other areas that I'm going to add on to it. And again, it won't contradict with him. It shouldn't in any way, shape, or form. So I really encourage you to go check him out, because I heard another person, and I'm not going to mention them, but they do talk about how Qigong is only to do with breath work and it's only to do with health. And there's no such thing as the golden flower. He's never met anybody, da 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 da. Well, if you're watching this, go check out JJ Semple, and you'll see somebody who's actually discovered this thing that has been lost in the ages and lost a metaphor. All right, cool. Also, I do have I wrote these notes and I dated them. Wow, this is October 2022. Okay, don't worry. What I always take notes and I put things on my computer um, and then I come back and revisit them and see how correct I was at the time. And uh, all of the things here seem pretty spot on with all of the. I've done a larger degree of study and meditation over the last couple of years. That's just keeps getting heightened, and I wish to share that with people before I sort of go too far and say things that just seem you know too on the experience level than just sticking down and giving you the root causes, right? What you want is the root cause so you can get on the path too. So let's have a look what I wrote. Right? The Secret of the Golden Flower. It is an exposition on Wuji breathing. Might even break down my own work. So Wuji breathing, it's a type of Taoist breathing. It's very important for your Wing Chun training, or if you're doing Tai Chi, so too. And if you're doing Taoist meditation, you should or must be very familiar with this. The purpose of which is to create the holy embryo, the golden pill, the golden flower. These are all they use like metaphors and things. Please don't get hung up on them. But I do love the way they created this flowery language. It's great marketing. It is accomplished via warming, nourishing, bathing, and washing. Again, these are pointers or metaphors to the techniques. A reversal of the acquired mind back to which is the anima, the acquired mind, the social mind, back to the primordial mind or animus, the clear light. Each method must progress from, I've called fa, which means conscious action, to gong, as in, gong fu, which means unconscious action, to mastery. Then we have mastered it. Okay. The book, it's very weird that I read it so long ago, and I pick it up and I read it every now and then. And I really enjoy it. Um, but the chapters of this book, they give you the actual the chapter of the technique you should practice in your meditation. Please note how I said I won't be reading the whole book. It's because the first few chapters is just an exposition about the universe and ontology and philosophy, so to speak, and things like that. They're the sort of things, like rhetoric, logic, a discourse, all these things you find in philosophy. All these things, when it comes to meditation, you have to leave behind. Because that's the learned self that I wrote here, right? The acquired mind. So you're not bringing your acquired mind with you. You have to put it to bed. You have to put it to rest. And then in the book, there are other parts that specifically talk about the technique. What I have here is a set of methods, and I'll probably leave these descriptions for when we do those methods in the future videos. The first one is called reflection, or I wrote reflection. If I recollect with the book, they call it protecting the center. And one thing I should mention is this is a great sitting meditation that will bring a lot of light to your Silnam Dao practice. Because in the seated meditation, you're just doing these singular things. And in the Silnam Dao practice, you wish to do these things, and then you're sort of adding in the movement and energetics. Not all of them, but quite a few. And setting aside the time just to focus on one thing means that when you incorporate other things, they become enriched. The other part they have is a method called turning the light around. I think that's a Zen name. And you really, very important. The other method so that's two I've provided. I'm going off topic here. You can see that every time you sort of improve on something, you criticize your own work. Not that it's wrong, it's just a different way I organized it back then. The third I have here is quiet, natural breathing. You can refer that as, regulating the breath. When you go to Tai Chi, Qigong, you have different types of regulation. And then I've got the next method here, which is called regulating the mind. That would be the acquired mind. So when you enter into turning the light around, you tend to get distracted, or to say lose concentration. And that pops you back into the acquired mind. And so you got to regulate the acquired mind to put that little baby to bed and then come back, turn the light around. But we'll get to that in these lessons, right? That's why I'm here to talk you through in detail, go all the way through in a lot of detail, and you really understand. And so with that full understanding, you bring yourself right back to the top where that chapter title is. And it's like the first one, which is turning the light around. When you sit to meditate, you can just go, turn the light around, protect the center, regulate the breathing. And only if you're distracted, you regulate the mind. That is the meditation, by the way. But there's a lot more to it. I'll do this summary and then we'll wrap up this video. Wait a second, I've got even more notes. That's all right. I think we'll see how we go. It says, in sum, all methods are mastered when the body is still, relaxed, balanced at center. It's very important. I'm going to say this a different way than I would have written it. The mind is quiet. I'm going to say you've turned the light around, and we'll describe what that means in the video. We have here the qi naturally sinks to the lower dantian and is stored. And the breathing is passive, quiet, light, and deep. We have this other method, and not a method, it's an effect really from doing the practice correctly, that comes from J.J. Semple. And he writes that the heart rate slows. So you can see here there is this dichotomy between mind and body. Although with the practice it all becomes one, but when you analyze it, you're not just like, I'm doing something spiritual. It's not like that. You're being very scientific and you're using your whole mind, body, organism as the laboratory. And you use your own light of awareness to regulate those into the correct functioning. And then that produces this right result of the heart rate slowing. Okay, I'll keep reading. when a person has found the method of making thoughts and energy harmonize with one another, he can complete the elixir within 100 days. So the elixir, did I write the other names of it? You know, like the red pill or the cinnabar, etc. These are just names for the yuan qi, or what, where it's located, the lower dantian. And by 100 days, they don't mean literally. Um, it's usually a pointing that it takes a bit of time. But what they're saying there, though, which is really important, and they call it, this is the method of circulating of the light. You have to get all the methods 100% correct. And I'll give you, I work in cybersecurity in Australia, and the Australian government has this thing called the Essential Eight. And then there's 8 things you need to do. And if you do all 8, you reach maturity level, what they call maturity level 1. And if you can do them all again, you do maturity level 2. Okay. And it works like that. Meditation's a little like that. Let's say if I gave you, I don't know, let's say I gave you 4 things, right? You have to do all 4. And when you do all 4, you'll reach the required maturity level that you do them every time. And then within the 100 days, you produce the elixir. But if you do all 3 really well, better than anyone's ever seen, but you can't do the first one, nothing ever happens. And if you do 2 really well, but 3 and 4 no good, nothing ever happens. You know, if you do all of them 80%, nothing ever happens. They all need to be done precisely, like a recipe from a cookbook. Okay. Okay, what have I written here? Breath energy, chi, fat energy from the abdomen, Jing essence or hormones from the testicles, or in women, ovaries, and kidneys, adrenals, all activated by the abdominal pump. Sinking of the qi activates the thyroid and thymus along the chongmei, all the way down. The work on the upper dantian and the pump activates the hypothalamus, pineal gland, and pituitary gland of the limbic system. Again, what I'm talking about is you can't separate meditation from your physical body. Matter of fact, it's pretty much rooted in it. And this practice is rooted in the physical. So you have to be real in touch with your own body to sort of get good at it, right? So although I'm breaking this down analytically, you simply understanding it produces no result. You have to understand it and then apply it to your own body. Okay, there's something very interesting in this text which separates it from all the other texts that are written, and also from things like, especially for things like Buddhism, because in Buddhism, you tend to work on your meditation and pass through the jhanas, and then from there you pop out, and there's this enlightenment. You can have the Theravada model where you have to do that 4 times on the 4-path model, but we're not going to get into that, but you know what I mean, right? This one's a little different because they have this other thing called the backward flowing method. And what you'll find by reading J.J. Semple's work and listening to him podcasts is that he figured this out way back when, and he he got in touch with the yuan shi. He cultivated, the herb, so to speak. There's many names for it, right? The golden flower. And as it, since it was from his meditative practice cultivated and was present, and he could see it, he was then able to perform the backward flowing method. And that's really, if you've ever seen it, there's the Taoist water wheel. There's a symbol. Maybe I'll get it and show you. Um, and JJ, you know, with no cultural bias, not having to wear pajamas, not even traveling to China, did it in France. He 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 dissected all of this, and using just his own awareness in the laboratory of his own body, revealing, was able to uncover all of these pieces. Um, and that one there's the final step, the final method. Um, there is another, and it's kind of hidden in the steps that I gave. There is another piece there where the slowing down of the heart rate. If somebody were to put a measure, heart monitor onto you, EG or whatever it is, they would you would see that your heart rate goes down. And you can do this yourself, right? I have bands over there you can put on your head and do that sort of stuff to work on slowing your heart rate. But experientially, you would feel like uh, that let's say you're sitting in a room, that you in the room are breathing in synchronicity. So in order to get from that beginning stage of where you just plunk yourself down to sit to a state where it's a bit psychedelic, isn't it? Sounds a bit like a LSD trip. Oh, the walls were breathing. Um, you need to go through differing phases. And I'm going to try my best to explain them to you as part of these series. Um, and as you can see, this is not about simply wanting to be peaceful, just need to relax more, trying to concentrate. These are all very superficial type things. They're all necessary, by the way, to do a proper meditation. But this meditation, as JJ correctly says, if you're in tune enough with your body and you're committed enough to do this practice, and you uncover the golden flower, um, it's a switch that once it's flicked in this manner, it can't be flicked back. And he does provide warnings about this, so I should also provide a warning, um, because uh, it will change you indefinitely. Probably the way to put it. And that's a big step, like a huge step, right? And so, if you're um, in a, I don't know, uh, certain life circumstance where um, you have all of these commitments and so forth, maybe it's not the time to flick the switch, but you can still practice this technique. You can just get up and still see how well you can do at it in preparation for later when you don't have so many commitments. And that if you get a little, crazy, you can just sort of chill out and not have to worry that you have all these dependents and stuff. All right, awesome. That's Fantastic. That's the end there, and I've got the notes here uh, for the methodology, and that's what we'll get into in the coming videos. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to divulging more of this soon.